7th, 2023 morning session of the Portland City Council. Keelan, I'm being told people can't hear me. Is my volume up? A little bit. Testing, testing. How's that? Good? Great. All right, good. Please call the roll.
Good morning. Gonzalez.
Here.
Maps.
Here.
Rubio.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Wheeler.
Here. Good morning. We're going to hear from legal counsel now on the rules of order and decorum.
Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with City Council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during City Council meetings. The presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify, unless otherwise stated. A timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct, such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others' testimony or council deliberations, will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony today should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Disclose if you are a lobbyist. If you are representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
All right, thanks. First up, communications. Item number 800.
Request of Michael O'Callahan to address council regarding sweeps.
Good morning, sir. Good to see you again. Your number 800, that's 800 items we have heard since January 1st.
Thank you very much. My name is Michael O'Callahan. I'd like to introduce myself because you're probably not aware of my history. Okay, I was made a hero in 1987, Newsweek magazine, 1989. I got a full page. Set up a free food program in Anchorage where we were giving away 1,500,000 pounds of food a year, 82 volunteers on a zero budget, no cost. We only had one rule. You miss one pickup, you're dropped from the program. From an administrative point of view, I had 3 turnovers a year. Also gave away 2.5 million pounds of salmon, 120,000 pounds here in Portland. Anyway, thanks for the party on the first floor. That's cool that it's used for other reasons. The camping ordinance, objectively reasonable. All over the world, I see people, everybody has a home. Everybody. Is it objectively reasonable to steal somebody's home? No, no. You know what happens? They die on the streets. Young. Our longevity in the United States is going down for that reason. Okay? You know, it's unfortunate you see in Section 9, I don't know if your attorneys checked this over or not, must not have. Section 9 gives you the right to go on private property. You usurp the right to go on private property? Wow, totally unconstitutional. You know, here's a little experiment that they did with rats. It's really kind of interesting. They put them in a container with enough water where they were drowned. And they timed to see how long they lasted. They lasted 16 hours, and then they took them out. They didn't let them drown, but then some of them they put back in after they dried them off. You know how long they lasted? 60 hours. 4 times as long, because they had hope. What you guys do is the carrot stick approach, and there isn't any carrot. There's only a stick. Okay, please stop beating people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple of comments. Number one, we do not go on private property for the purpose of removing homeless encampments. And number two, we do offer carrots. This has been a priority of our council to make sure that if people want access to behavioral health services or treatment services or job training or public health services, that we would connect them to those services. And I think that's very important for us to all remember. Mr. Callahan, I always appreciate you coming in, though. Thank you, sir. Next item, 801, please. Next individual.
Request of Lois Levine to address council regarding vehicular violence.
Welcome. It's good to see you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Lois Levine. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm here because public safety requires prioritizing people over property. I requested this time 6 weeks ago, after an especially deadly July, to remind City Council that vehicular violence had taken 45 lives in Portland this year. I did not know then that drivers would kill 3 more people, bringing the current death toll to 48, the majority of whom were either motor vehicle drivers or passengers. I did not know that Commissioner Mapps and PBOT Director Williams would quietly try to spend some of PBOT's dwindling dollars dismantling safety infrastructure that has prevented more vehicular violence in one of downtown Portland's most dangerous corridors. The press has since exposed this perilous plan, revealing that Commissioner Mapps lied to cover up his involvement. Members of PBOT's Budget Advisory Committee have now expressed lack of faith in Williams and called for her resignation. I did not know that yesterday Commissioner Gonzalez and Director Williams would put forth the absurd claim that drivers subsidize bicyclists, pedestrians, and public transit users, revealing deep ignorance of the actual cost of automotive infrastructure, not to mention the public health and personal health costs of motor vehicles, and the enormous current and looming costs of the climate crisis. It is astounding to have leadership that is either so duped or so duplicitous. Nor did I know that this past Saturday, an SUV with Oregon plates 204 JSL would run the stoplight at Cesar Chavez and Taylor, nearly striking me and 3 other bicyclists. This is the same intersection where Jeannie Diaz was killed in July. The street remains as dangerous as it ever was. So I ask, what if instead of wasting public money to harass the visibly poor because their presence is discomforting, you actually address the violence that is injuring and killing Portlanders? Imagine a 90-day reset in which every intersection and street where a driver injures or kills someone is shut down to motor vehicles, and real and effective measures are taken to make it safer before it is allowed to reopen. If you can enact policy to reconfigure our streets for outdoor dining to increase restaurants' revenue, you can certainly reconfigure our streets to address vehicular violence. Because we are never going to get to Vision Zero if you show zero vision. I can't do much, but at least now the continuing danger of vehicle violence along Cesar Chavez will be entered into the record of today's meeting, so that next time a driver injures or kills someone where Jeannie Diaz, Jocelyn Latka, Mark Angeles, Austin Boyd, and others have already lost their lives to vehicular violence, perhaps it will be easier to sue the city for not acting on a known and documented danger. Yesterday, the mayor indicated he understands how motivating lawyers and lawsuits can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Levine. And I'd like to just put on the record as well, and I appreciate you being here. It is not just motor vehicles that are killing people. It is drivers who are killing people. And what we're seeing in the police bureau statistics is a rapid acceleration of people who are either distracted, read texting, or they're under the influence, speeding, or all 3. And so while I agree with what you said, and you're right, there are certain hot spots, I also think it's important at every opportunity to remind people that if you turn the key, or as lately, it's become push the fob, you're taking on a responsibility with potentially lethal consequences for everybody else. And I just like to remind people, if you're drunk, if you're late, you feel like speeding, if you feel like you need to do more text messaging, don't get in the car.
I agree. You should read the county's report that they issued the day that MAPS had his press conference to try and upstage them. They addressed those issues and systemic safety as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next individual, 803, and Keelan, it's my understanding we have a translation for this one. Is that correct? So we'll give him 6 minutes?
Yes, but I accidentally skipped 801. Sorry,
that's
my mistake.
not your fault. I'm the presiding officer. It's my job to pay attention. 801, please.
801, request of Sonia Mays to address council regarding help for the community for family homicides.
Welcome. Good morning.
Sonia was going to join us in person. Okay. So 803, we do have an interpreter. They're joining us virtually. I'll set the timer for 6 minutes.
Thank you.
Request of How Fam to address council regarding homeless camping and RV parking.
Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. I need the interpreter.
Yes.
And are they unmuted, the interpreter, Keelan? Looks like they're still muted. There we go.
Okay.
Good morning to our interpreter. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay.
The major.
Good. Go ahead, sir.
Thưa Hội đồng thành phố, cái khu vực tôi ở đó là tôi từ năm 2016 là tôi đã chịu đựng cái chuyện mà homeless á 17 tháng liên tục. Rồi sau đó đó là người City làm việc với người ta. Thì sau đó cứ khoảng cỡ chừng cùng lắm là 10 tháng là homeless trở lại. Chị nói giùm đi chị, để tôi không phải nói dài.
Dear the council, I have lived in my residence from 2016, and for 17 months, I had to handle with the homeless. And when the city took care of the issue, it's about 10 months, then the homeless will come back.
Homeless á, người ta biết á, là city á, đến làm việc rất là lâu. Thành ra là mỗi lần mà tôi report cho city á, là tôi phải đợi 5-6 tháng, 6-7 tháng thì city mới đến làm việc.
Homeless people, they knew that every time I report to city, it will take 5 to 7 months for city to resolve the issue. Rồi anh.
Và cái chuyện này á, cứ được lặp đi lặp lại liên tục.
And this issue, it keep repeating over and over.
Cái khu vực của tôi ở đó là South East Morrison và South East 122.
My neighbor is on Southeast Morrison and 122nd.
Những cái hậu quả mà tôi đã nhận á, là người ta delivery đồ tới nhà tôi á, là nó giật đồ trước mặt nhà tôi luôn. Rồi cái thứ hai nữa đó là kiến xe của tôi đã bị đập, và tôi đã gửi cái hình ảnh này cho thị trưởng luôn.
The issue was when I got delivery to my house, they took over the package in front of me and the delivery person. Also, they broke window of my car. I took the picture and sent to the mayor office.
Nhà tôi á, là có con gái. Đối diện nhà tôi là cái công viên. Có khi nó camping ở đó mà nó đứng đái, mà tôi với bạn tôi đứng trước cửa, nó đứng đái trước mặt luôn.
I have daughter at home, and across of my house is the park, a public park. They came in that public park, and there was times that they exposed themselves in front of me and my friend. Me and my friend, we just stood at the porch, and they stand and pee and expose themselves in front of us.
Những lần mà tôi gọi lên tôi report cho city á, là những cái người nhân viên nghe máy á, có người á thì rất là nice, có người là mới nghe xong á là ok để tôi chuyển cho chỗ khác, và lúc đó là chỉ là máy nói chuyện với tôi thôi, rồi người ta kêu tôi để message lại thì không bao giờ có ai gọi lại cho tôi hết.
I called the city office few times. There was time that I got some nice people. They took time to listen and answer me, but there was time that when they just heard the reason I called, they transfer me to another line, and I could not get to the real person. It's always automated system. I left voicemail. Nobody called me back.
Cái khu vực của tôi ở đó là có sign là no parking RV, no rồi có cái sign đó là no camping. But okay,
in my neighbor, there were the sign that no RV or no camping.
Người ta đến, người ta đậu xe ở đó, rồi tôi report là cái lần mới nhất là tôi phải chờ 1 tháng mấy mới có người đến. Còn cái trước đó đó là cái site mà camping mà city đặt ở đó đó là người ta tới, người ta camping, người ta quăng đi luôn. Tôi report cho city nhưng mà không có được cái gì hết.
The last time that I report to the city, took a month for the city to come down. And before that, when city put up the sign, the homeless people, they took down the sign, and but the city did not do anything.
Tôi mong là City sẽ có những cái giải pháp nó tốt hơn, chứ nó cứ đi lặp lại như vậy chứ tôi rất là mệt rồi.
I hope that the city will have any solution to help with this case because I'm tired with this.
I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner Maps.
Mr. Pham, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come and testify before this council.
Ông Phạm, tôi cảm ơn ông đã đến đây ngày hôm nay để điều trần trước hội đồng.
It sounds like you are having problems navigating the city's bureaucracy.
Có vẻ là ông có vấn đề về việc mà tham quan cái bản đồ của thành phố.
If you leave your contact information before you depart City Hall today,
Ngày hôm nay trước khi ra về, xin ông vui lòng để lại những thông tin liên lạc của ông cho thành phố.
I will work with my colleagues on council to find the right person with the city to reach out to you to give you advice on how to report the problems that you've been struggling with.
Chúng tôi sẽ tìm đúng người mà lo cho cái khu vực của ông để liên lạc với ông, để hướng dẫn ông những cách làm thế nào để báo cáo với thành phố.
And again, thank you for being here today.
Cảm ơn ông đã có mặt ngày hôm nay.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Can I talk a little bit?
Sure.
Briefly, we've got a long agenda, and I know my colleagues want to respond to what you said.
Ông có thể nói nhanh một tí.
Cái cách mà report cho thành phố là tôi biết, nhưng mà tôi chỉ muốn là thành phố thay đổi cái cách làm việc, tại vì cái người homeless người ta biết cái cách của thành phố làm việc và người ta sẽ đi theo cái đó, người ta không có sợ thành phố gì hết á.
I know how to report, but I think the homeless people, they knew how the way city work, and they navigate through that, so they cannot be violate or any, so they can go ahead with their choice.
Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Mr. Pham, thank you so much for testifying.
Cảm ơn ông Phạm đã ra điều trần.
The city of Portland has joined a appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court to change the interpretation of U.S. constitutional law as it applies to homeless, to better allow cities to enforce prohibitions on unsanctioned camping.
Thành phố Portland đã hợp với lại chánh tòa án tối cao để có thể thay đổi một số luật để có thể cấm đoán về những cái vấn đề mà cắm trại, người vô gia cư cắm trại.
Unfortunately, the courts tie cities' hands in the Western United States in our ability to enforce our own laws.
Rất tiếc là tòa thẩm phán cũng có những cái khó khăn giống như là gây cản trở cho thành phố để mà có thể thi hành những cái luật đó.
And further, in 2022, the Oregon State Legislature further limited cities' abilities to enforce its own law with respect to unsanctioned camping.
Vào năm 2022 thì thẩm phán tòa án tối cao đã cấm cản thành phố có những cái luật để mà cưỡng chế những người vô gia cư.
At a very fundamental level, government is failing you, and we are using every tool we have to alleviate our neighborhoods of this problem. I will say the city adopted new law in July. We've been too slow to enforce it. I would like to see us move faster in enforcing existing law. But part of the reason we're moving slow, too slow, in my opinion, is that we know we're going to get sued. We need help from the courts and from the state legislature to allow us to move forward.
Trên căn bản thì chính phủ đã thất bại trong việc này, nhưng mà thành phố thì cố gắng bằng mọi cách để xin sự ủng hộ của tòa án tối cao để có thể có những cái hành động, có những cái phương pháp để có thể đương đầu với vấn đề vô gia cư này. Vào tháng 7 vừa rồi thì chúng tôi cũng xin sự hỗ trợ của tiểu bang để có thể có nhiều quyền lực hơn để mà giải quyết vấn đề.
Again, thank you for your testimony. We're working at this every day to make it better.
Cảm ơn ông đã đến điều trần. Chúng tôi làm việc mỗi ngày để giải quyết vấn đề.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Howe, for having the courage to join us today.
Cảm ơn ông Hảo Phạm đã có mặt ngày hôm nay.
You're playing your part by persistently reporting.
Vì ông đã liên tục báo cáo với chúng tôi.
And you need basic customer service from government.
Và ông cũng đã biểu lộ những cái sự cần thiết căn bản của một người dân đối với chính phủ.
I was with neighbors on 162nd and Northeast Halsey last night, and they had very similar stories.
Tối hôm qua tôi đã ở tại 160 và Northeast Halsey thì tôi cũng có tiếp xúc với những người dân cư xung quanh và tôi cũng biết những cái tình trạng tương tự như ông.
Again, thank you for playing your part, and we must improve our basic customer service.
Cảm ơn ông đã thực hành đúng cái quyền công dân của mình và chúng tôi cũng sẽ cố gắng để cải thiện những cái việc mà người dân tiếp xúc.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And thank you to our interpreter. Thank you.
Cảm ơn.
My pleasure.
804, please. Next individual.
Request of Darla Sturdy to address council regarding ambulance solutions. They canceled their request.
They what?
Canceled.
They canceled their request. Okay. Very good. We're not. Let's do the consent agenda first. Have any items been pulled off the consent agenda?
No items
Please
have
call
been
the
pulled.
roll.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. Consent agenda is adopted. First time certain item, please, number 805. This is a report.
Appoint members to the Portland Committee on Community Engaged Policing.
Colleagues, I'm requesting that this item be referred back to my office. And we're a couple of minutes before the next time certain. Let's move on to second readings, please. Let's go to item 812, please, a second reading.
Authorize contract with Jackson Group Peterbilt Incorporated not to exceed $1,496,240 for the purchase of 2 paint striper vehicles.
Colleagues, this is a second reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It's already been presented. We've heard public testimony. Is there any further business on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 819, also a second reading.
Authorize price agreement with Peterson Machinery Company for Caterpillar parts and service not to exceed $6,500,000.
Also a second reading. Any further business? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Gonzalez.
Can you clarify what number that was again? I think
I read 813.
I heard differently, sorry.
too.
Was that not the one you asked for?
That was.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought you said 819.
Me too.
I read 813.
I think you did. I heard the mayor say
Oh,
819. So
okay. I apologize.
I am an aye on 813.
Okay, thank you. Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 814, a second reading.
Initiate foreclosure action on certain properties for the collection of delinquent city liens placed against the properties.
Any further business on this item? Please call the roll.
There's a proposed amendment on this one. I believe staff are online also and in the room. Yeah,
We amended this last week, correct?
Here we are.
We did.
Okay, now
That's
here's what happened. Okay. So we heard the foreclosure ordinance last week. Remember, it is very, very difficult for government to take private property by design. People have the opportunity up until the very last second to say they're going to pay the bills, meet the delinquency requirements, and therefore take the item off. So that is what has happened here. Apparently late last night, we received a call from one of the property owners. They are interested in paying off their past due bills, and therefore we need to amend this item yet again.
Which property?
So property number 6, which is 1229 North Bryant Street. Let me go ahead and just read this into the record. A property owner originally listed within this item is actively engaging with city staff to correct violations and pay back their lien. Therefore, I motion to amend the ordinance to reflect the removal of property number 6, which is 1229 North Bryant Street, from the list of properties in the ordinance, to update Exhibit A to reflect this change and to remove Exhibit B8. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Gonzalez seconds. We will hear any public testimony on this item if there is any. Didn't expect it, so therefore we will call the roll.
Oh, are we voting on the amendment?
We're voting on the amendment.
Got it.
To remove the property 6 from the list and amend
Gonzalez.
the exhibit.
Aye.
Maps,
Aye.
Rubio,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye, so the amendment passes. It's a non-emergency ordinance moving to, quote, second reading, unquote, although I think this is third or fourth at this point. And colleagues, I also want you to know I've put a question before legal counsel to prevent this kind of thing from happening repeatedly, that in the future we can hear all of the foreclosure proposals together, but they should be structured as individual ordinances. And that way what we can do is pull individual ordinances but move forward on the remainder, and in this particular case it would be the large majority of the package, so that we're not constantly just recycling this into a second reading. If that's of interest to people, come find me afterwards.
Mr. Mayor, I'll just jump in here and say we could kind of see this happening last week or whenever it came. I would support that new approach to addressing this policy area.
And if anybody has objections, just come find me after a meeting. 815, a second reading.
Amend Council Organization and Procedures Code to align with the amended city charter approved by voters in Portland Measure 26-228.
Any further discussion on this item? Please call the roll.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye, the ordinance is adopted. 817, a second reading.
Can't wait.
Authorize the Bureau of Environmental Services to acquire certain permanent and temporary property rights necessary for construction of the Northeast 33rd Drive Pump Station Upgrade Project E10910 through negotiation or exercise of the city's eminent domain authority.
Any further business on this item? Seeing none, call the roll.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye, ordinance adopted. 818, second reading.
Accept the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Fund Climate Investment Plan in effect through October 31st, 2028.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Gonzalez.
I have a number of both items to celebrate on this plan and deep concerns. Maybe I'll start with the concerns. In terms of its ability to truly push forward decarbonization efforts, I have real questions on whether the dollars spent here are going to be effective tools of that. Second, I think deeply embedded in this ordinance is permanent racial grievance. It's embedded in a number of the recitals. And as a framing of public policy going forward, I question if that's the way we should be defining issues. One of the deep concerns is the exposure of marginalized communities to some of the real negative effects of climate change. While that is a true concern, the greatest predictor of that is poverty of all races. And so a strictly racial framing of that concern to me is problematic. Further, we're seeing deep underinvestment in infrastructure and in transportation in our region. I do appreciate that the work of Commissioner Rubio's office in getting new dollars towards transportation decarbonization and some dollars that could potentially be available for city infrastructure. I think in both cases it's insufficient. I would have liked to have seen much more in both of those areas. But I'm not going to let the perfect be the opposite of a good. We have made some improvements here. And while I have those fundamental concerns about the framing of the program, I also have real concerns as to whether nonprofits are actually going to be able to get these dollars out the door at this scale. I will vote aye for now, but I hope we preserve space to continue to evaluate such substantial spend of dollars, $750 million over 5 years, again, at a time when parts of our city are starving for investment dollars. So I vote aye.
Maps?
Aye.
Rubio?
We're at a pivotal moment in our history, globally and locally, and our climate isn't changing, it's already changed. And this plan is an investment strategy that provides solutions for communities hit first and hardest by this change, which was the intention of the fund. That includes BIPOC and also low income of all backgrounds. But to truly understand what that means, we need to really think about what climate justice also means. It means really looking at meaningful climate action that can't happen without significant investments in communities that have been historically underinvested in. And that includes what I just mentioned, BIPOC and also low income and frontline communities. So it also means that we can't make meaningful carbon emission reductions without investing in deferred maintenance for communities that haven't seen any investment at all in decades or ever in some cases. And Portlanders made their voices heard on this loud and clear. Over the last 9 months, PSEF staff have heard more than 1,000 individual comments, performed dozens of hours of workshops, both virtual and in person, worked with staff across multiple bureaus in the city, heard from industry experts, heard from critics, and also from each of our offices. And I want to thank the thousands of people who have given the feedbacks and comments and constructive conversations that have been had, because it truly has made the plan better than it was and continues to do so. So I'd like to acknowledge that and also thank BPS and PSEF staff and the committee for all their work that has gone into this very ambitious plan. I believe this is a huge step forward for the program and for the city and community, and I'm really proud to support this inaugural CIP plan. I vote aye.
Ryan?
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Commissioner Rubio, for your leadership. And I'd like to thank Donnie, Sam, and the team at PSEF for leaning into my suggestions over the course of our conversations. You truly are a collaborative team. This plan gives us momentum on the right path for PSEF and the city. Portland needs to figure out how to have the most impact for the most amount of people, and this plan is heading in the right direction. As a commissioner overseeing parks, I wanted to add a note from Jen Cairo, manager of urban forestry, who says they appreciate PSEF's focus on green infrastructure like trees as integral to the public health and climate action, whole community partnerships between government, nonprofits, and private firms, and growing community expertise, capacity, and job opportunities. I want to encourage continued use of metrics to make sure we are putting resources where they are making the most difference. As we move forward, we need to be thinking about transforming and upgrading our infrastructure to align with clean energy and reduced emissions. I hope that will continue to be part of the next iterations of PSEF's plans. And again, we are adapting to reality under Commissioner Rubio's leadership. I vote aye.
Wheeler?
Well, first of all, I want to join my colleagues in thanking Commissioner Rubio for strong leadership, bringing this community-led initiative from the ballot to actual implementation. And I know it's been a pretty tough path, and I really appreciate your sticking to it. You've taken a collaborative and what I believe has been a deeply engaging approach in developing this climate investment plan. I also want to share my colleagues' thanks to staff, particularly Donnelly Oliveira, as well as Sam Barrasso, for their extensive time and dedication to this program. And finally, of course, I'd like to recognize the PSEF committee members themselves and the countless community members and partners, including those that presented, I thought, very effectively last week, that have shared their input and their expertise in developing the CIP. And I think all of us can agree, these are times where people are very busy, and these individuals put hundreds of hours into the efforts that we're voting on today. There's no other fund like PSEF anywhere else in the country. We're leading the way in designing climate solutions with and for communities on the front lines of climate change. And because of this, of course, this program is being watched by many, many people all across the nation, and therefore we have to do it right. Our city, as has been indicated by the comments of Commissioner Gonzalez, is confronting multiple crises simultaneously. We must take bold strategic actions to address our challenges and achieve our aggressive goals. PSEF, I believe, is one of the avenues to help us do it, especially as it relates to our climate action plan. There are clearly more discussions to be had. This is an important waypoint. It's not by any stretch of the imagination the end of the conversation. I want to point out something that happened yesterday at City Council that I thought was noteworthy. On one hand, we have these discussions ongoing about PSEF, how to spend the dollars, and I think it's pretty clear at this point that the dollars that are going into the fund are far greater than was originally anticipated. At the same time, we had a very difficult work session yesterday, and I appreciate Commissioner Mapps, you and the PBOT team putting that together and just laying it out on the table. But the bottom line is, under the current fiscal situation confronting PBOT, they are proposing to significantly curtail investments in alternative transportation, as well as the kind of safety infrastructure that we heard about earlier today in our testimony. So somewhere the minds need to meet. And rather than having one or the other, which clearly won't work for the future development of the city, we have to figure out how to get a both and in here. And I'm very confident with all the people working around the table, all the people volunteering, all the people supporting the CIP and PSEF generally, I'm very optimistic that we can get there. So long way of just saying thanks to everybody involved. I vote aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Thank you very much, Commissioner Rubio, for bringing that forward. Next time certain, 806, a report.
Accept 2018 through 2022 Arts Education and Access Fund Impact Report.
Today we're hearing the 2018 to 2022 Arts Education and Access Fund Impact Report. This report compiles insights as well as recommendations regarding the Art and Education Access Fund, previously known as the Arts Tax. Before we hear the report, I want to pass this over to Commissioner Ryan to share some remarks and introduce the presenters with us today. Is the Commissioner in charge? Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. Colleagues, I'm proud to present the Arts Education Access Fund, AEAF, Impact Report covering the fiscal years 2018 to 2022. This document is a testament to our collective commitment over the years. Since its inception, the Arts Education and Access Fund Oversight Committee has been steadfast in preparing annual reports for City Council, ensuring transparency and accountability in our endeavors. I want to thank AEF committee members for their work, especially the AOC Chair, Jen Falco, and previous committee Chair, Laura Stribe, for joining us in Council today. Hi. Cast your minds back to 2012, when we were a united community deciding to introduce what was termed as the art tax to the ballot. The vision was clear and resolute: to guarantee access to arts education for every child in our city and to provide grants fostering a vibrant and diverse arts ecosystem. Investing in arts education is not merely a financial decision. It's a pledge to holistic child development. Through the arts, we are nurturing creativity, fostering critical thinking, instilling empathy, and promoting a deep understanding of various cultures in the young minds of Portlanders. The arts serve as a powerful tool enabling our youth to articulate their unique voices, exploring their imaginations, and developing essential skills for navigating the complexities of our dynamic world. It says, insert personal story. I will say that, you asked for it. When I was 4, one of my earliest memories was my mom putting me in like a tap dancing class, and I later figured out, like just recently, that that was by the Portland Parks and Recreation, the #1 provider of arts in the community. And it was just wonderful to remember that first memory, and that the city provided that access. And then when I was at University of Oregon, I didn't get a major in theater, I did a minor. But once I started taking theater classes, all my other grades went way up. And I remember when I was on the school board for Portland Public Schools, it was in the dark years of basically almost zero arts funding. And it was, I remember having a dinner with the superintendent at the time, Vicki Phillips, and begging to get arts back into the budget. And I told more stories about how I probably wouldn't be here, I wouldn't have a degree if it wasn't for arts. I think that's true with a lot of people. It's one of the few I don't have any bumper stickers on my car, but if I did have one, it would be that arts does save lives. And then I'll fast forward to doing a training with some MBA from Blount University who are running companies, and I asked them how many people in their C-suites had arts background, and only one had that. And so we kind of did this dialogue. And I'm telling you, they had the best team because they didn't have just all engineers. They didn't just have all MBAs with accounting backgrounds. They actually had somebody at the table that mixed it up a little bit, that could think with that very important side of the brain. And then I was at a wedding once it was in Taipei, and this person that is an expat that lived in China said, why is the United States cutting arts curriculum? It's our only real advantage in the global marketplace. It's the one thing that really sticks out is that the creativity, the innovation. So don't ever let arts go out of the curriculum in the United States. It is our one clear advantage in the global marketplace. So I just wanted to insert my own personal stories there. And while a career in the arts might not be the calling for every child, again, that doesn't matter. The invaluable skills acquired through arts education undoubtedly are. By ensuring access to arts education, we are equipping our future leaders with the creative and critical thinking skills imperative for addressing and overcoming the challenges that our diverse industries face. So I stand here with a lot of gratitude for the relentless dedication and collaborative spirit exhibited by educators, by artists, by community leaders, and parents alike. On that note, allow me to pass the microphone off to the capable hands of the arts program staff, who will proceed with this presentation. Team, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Good morning, Mayor, City Council.
Before you jump in, can I just get
absolutely.
I note here on the time requested, you only requested 15 minutes, which I'm guessing is not accurate. How long do you expect the presentation today to last?
Present for about 15, followed by some invited testimony and your comments.
Okay, so how long do you expect the invited testimony to last? Because I think we also have a number of people signed up to testify publicly.
Oh, I believe we gave each person about 3 minutes, and we have 4 guests.
All right, good, thanks. That gives me an idea. Appreciate it, thank you.
Great. And I see the slides are up. Thanks, Keely. So for the record, my name is Jeff Hawthorne. I'm the Arts Program Manager. The reports before you today represent 5 years of work from the AEF Oversight Committee, including 4 reports that they produced and provided, but were never brought officially to City Council. There's also a summary report, which was commissioned by Commissioner Dan Ryan, which distills the committee's findings over that period of time and reminds City Council and all Portlanders of the extraordinary impact that this fund has had on arts education in our schools and arts access in our community. Next slide, please. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how it started and how it's going. So starting with a little historical context, next slide, please. The Arts Education and Access Fund was referred to the ballot by Portland City Council in 2012 and approved by 62% of voters that year. And the voters' intent was clear: to restore arts education in our public schools and to provide grants for arts organizations to help them make their events more accessible to the general public. Next slide, please. This chart shows how the tax was originally structured in 2012. It's an income tax of $35 paid by every city resident age 18 and above who earns at least $1,000 in annual income. No tax is collected from any household that is at or below the federal poverty line. So the Revenue Bureau, the Revenue Division, collects this tax and distributes a majority of the funds to Portland's 6 school districts based on a simple formula that takes into account school district enrollment and the average teacher salary. We fund 1 arts teacher for every 500 students in those districts. The city also uses some of the funds in that next tier down to pay for its collection costs, and these were originally capped at 5%, but I'm going to revisit that in just a moment. All the remaining funds have gone to the Regional Arts and Culture Council to award as grants to arts organizations, including general support to many of the city's most established arts organizations to help make their programs more accessible to the public, and special access funds for many smaller arts organizations who are providing arts experiences for community members who have historically been underserved. RAC also used to use some of the funds that they received to coordinate arts education across participating school districts. Now, just to point out a couple things about this chart that have changed since 2012. You'll remember that in 2018, City Council lifted the 5% administrative cap on the city's revenue collection costs, which helped the city collect more revenue each year. Rather than being capped, those administrative costs are now subject to the oversight of City Council. And last October, City Council changed the arts education coordination function to be housed here at the City Arts Program rather than at the Regional Arts and Culture Council. And I'm pleased to report that this change is already paying wonderful dividends. And in fact, today we are super excited to introduce you to our arts education coordinator, Dawn Isaacs. And you'll be hearing a little bit more from her in a few moments. But for now, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Darian Jones, Senior Policy Director of Arts and Culture for Commissioner Ryan's office, to walk you through the rest of the report.
Good morning, Council, Mayor, and Commissioners. Thank you again for having us today. For the record, my name is Darian Jones, and I serve the city as the Senior Policy Director of Arts, Culture, and Equity for Commissioner Ryan. Next slide, please. As Jeff mentioned in the previous slides, the city receives revenue for the Arts Education and Access Fund from Portland taxpayers, and those funds are dispersed to school districts and the Regional Arts and Culture Council. The revenue is received on the same schedule as the annual tax calendar, and the first disbursements of AEF funds are usually made available to the districts and RAC in November of the same year. The second disbursement is made in March of the following year. Next slide, please. The average revenue generated from the Arts and Education Access Fund is roughly $10 million per year. Since its inception, the Arts and Education Access Fund has received more than $100 million in revenue to aid students in grades K through 5. It's also important to note that the city diligently pursues outstanding taxes, working towards an 80% compliance goal over time. Next slide, please. The Arts Education and Access Fund was conceived with a funding formula based on enrollment across 6 school districts and respectively to the charter schools. Next slide, please. The established guideline is for every set of 500 students, districts fund 1 full-time equivalent certified arts educator. For enrollments under 500, funding supports half an FTE. Decisions on how to apply the funding within the schools are at the discretion of the individual districts and the schools. In the graph here and on page 7 of the report, you'll notice that because of the additive infusion of Arts Education and Access Fund dollars over time in the past decade, there has been a significant increase in arts educators across the districts, raising from 31 to 102. Next slide, please. A key objective of the Arts and Education Access Fund is to achieve a maximum teacher-to-student ratio of 1 to 500 for K through 5. In 2012, when the fund launched, the teacher-to-student ratio was close to 1 in 997. Since then, we have established substantial improvement, achieving a 1 in 323 ratio as of 2023. Remarkably, all the participating districts have surpassed the 1 in 500 target outlined in the initial city code. Next slide, please. According to the city code, school districts are the primary recipients of the revenue distributions, with surplus funds allocated to the Regional Arts and Culture Council. After district funding is distributed based on enrollment, additional funds from the Arts and Education Access Fund are channeled into grants. These grants, administered by RAC, support nonprofit arts organizations in Portland and initiatives enhancing arts access for all residents. The graph and accompanying report detail the allocations, with dark blue signifying general operating support grants and light blue representing arts access grants, which does require a minimum of the 5% allocation that Jeff mentioned was changed. Helen Daltoso from RAC, as the Director of Grants, will elaborate on RAC's grant making through the AEF during her invited testimony. Next slide, please. In the report on pages 10 through 15, it offers a 5-year overview of the AEAF's Oversight Committee's activities. Next slide, please. Those topics include transition and compliance. The AOC addressed significant transitions in occasional membership compliance lapses while focusing on reporting and training. Reporting standards with school was also discussed. The committee annually advocated for detailed state of arts reports from each district to assess the AEF fund's effectiveness. The committee also covered reporting standards with RAC and expressed a desire to streamline and standardize the formatting and timing of RAC's grant data reporting. In terms of growth, expansion, and evolution, the committee's discussion centered on optimal fund distribution, considering the possibility of expanding offerings for grades 6 to 12 or additional supplies for teachers. Public awareness was also a concern, and the committee discussed and planned how to raise public awareness for the AAF, which resulted in a new design and new logo in 2021. For charter schools, the committee discussed how and who should be managing the charter schools' disbursement of the funds. Equity was also a priority for the committee, which it continuously explores strategies for more equitable fund distribution and implementation across the districts and RAC. Next slide, please. I'll now pass the microphone to Don Isaacs, our Arts Education Access Coordinator, to talk a little bit more about the fund. Don, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Darian. Good morning. I'm Dawn Isaacs. I'm the Arts Education Coordinator. And prior to joining the city at the tail end of last school year, I spent 25 years in elementary schools. And so I want us to spend a moment with this image, holding children at the center of our time here. When we talk about impact, we should really be thinking about the children of Portland. Each year in elementary school is a long time when measured in the years of childhood. And each year with or without an arts education has lasting impact. These kids have a music teacher, which means that they learned how to play instruments and sing, and what it means to join their voices collectively with their classmates. It means their families were able to come together with their children and hear them sing and play, which resulted in strengthened community bonds. So when we think about FTE, we need to think about these kids and the ripples of impact that they have felt with each of those numbers. Next slide, please. Darian laid out, and the report outlines, numerous recommendations that the AEAF Oversight Committee has outlined over years. And so I'm just going to speak for a moment to some of the progress we're making towards those recommendations. Next slide, please. We're focusing on strengthening relationships by meeting with district representatives from the 6 school districts served by the funds on a more regular cadence. I'm working to form a teacher advisory group comprised of teachers from across the districts to be thought partners with me and helping me to better understand the experience of the teachers and of the children in their classrooms. We're partnering with the AEIF Oversight Committee Chair to understand and better support the committee's needs. Repeatedly, the committee has called for better data collection. So we have worked to create a schedule for data collection and reporting. We're increasing the amount of qualitative and quantitative data collected and beginning to ask for a state of the arts report. And we're revising the current IGAs, which were created at the inception of the fund, to better reflect current practice and updated data collection. So next steps include increasing regional collaboration across the 6 districts, defining and working towards quality arts education, and maybe, most importantly, and part of all of our collective work, is to tell the story of the fund and the very real impact that it has on the daily life of Portland's children. Thank you.
And with that, we're going to move to invited testimony, beginning with the AEF co-chairs.
Good morning.
Morning. I will start. Hello, my name is Laura Stribe. I joined the Arts Oversight Committee as a volunteer in 2017 and served as its chair from 2019 until I termed off at the end of 2022. 16 years ago, I started an arts and music educational nonprofit to provide quality arts access to kids here in Portland. And I have been invested in the AEAF since before it was even on the ballot. I do feel like I need to provide some clarity around the current talking points that the committee has been out of compliance in our reporting. On January 11th, 2019, I sat in a meeting with Thomas Lanham from the Revenue Department, David Huff, the first city arts manager, Commissioner Udaley's policy advisor, and Jeff Hawthorne, who was then the interim ED of RAC. It was decided by this group that our committee only needed to submit a report that would be distributed to council members. The 2018 report was finalized by the end of February and sent to all commissioners, the mayor, and their staffs on March 4th, 2019. And I was told that our committee had fulfilled its annual reporting duty. Similarly, the committee's 2019 report was finalized during the COVID shutdowns and sent to Revenue, City Arts Manager G.N. Kim, and RAC ED Madison Cario to be passed on to all commissioners and the mayor. Our most recent report was approved by our committee in this February, and we have been prepared to report on our findings ever since then. Our committee has been following the recommendations of city officials and 3 different arts program managers. Now that it has been brought to light that a public presentation component is required, I know the current committee will be happy to provide these reports in person and with the most up-to-date data. Chairing a committee through COVID was no small feat. During COVID, our committee did shrink to 3 members. I was able to do outreach and recruitment to bring our committee participation back up to 19 members. Also in my role as chair, I worked to get us on a consistent calendar of data collection from all stakeholders so that our reports could be submitted near the end of each school year, enabling you, council, to hear recommendations and implement those recommendations in real time. In our current report, we show that the fund supported over 32,000 children at 87 Portland area schools within the 6 school districts. Combined fund and district monies paid for 108 FTE arts certified positions. This is a significant improvement from 2012 when the average ratio, as Darian also said, was 1 certified arts educator for every 997 students. While the fund is working as intended, the committee believes it can do more to provide quality arts education and access by updating the IGAs between the city and the 6 school districts, like adding specific language to report the number of individual teachers, as well as the total number of FTE. Additional reporting requirements need to include strict deadlines for data submission from all school districts. We also recommend requiring each school district and their schools to report the teacher-student ratio to ensure that both full-time and part-time educators have a reasonable and sustainable workload. The final accomplishment that I am proud to have participated in while serving as the chair of this committee is the logo rebranding of the Arts Education and Access Fund. In 2020 and 21, our committee, along with the Arts Education Coordinator at RAC, led a student-designed logo contest with community collaboration at its core. The winner was a 3rd grade student from Rose City Park Elementary School. My hope is that this logo is now required at all school district and school websites and organizations that receive AEAF funding to highlight the fact that this fund is working for our community and our schools through grant-funded organizations. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jen Falco. Good morning. I'm the chair of the AOC. Over the past year, the AOC has continued to focus on our job one, efficiency and accountability for the intent of Portland voters in passing the ballot measure. What was that intent? Certified arts educators providing high-quality arts education based on K-5 enrollment with that maximum student-teacher ratio you've heard us talking about today, as well as, equally importantly, grants that provide high-quality arts access for K-12 kids and provide arts and cultural experiences to our underserved communities. What have we done this past year? We've completed a review of contracts related to the AEAF and have urged the city to update them to better codify voter requirements. 2, we're partnering with the city's new education coordinator to enhance that data collection and the timeliness of reporting. I cannot stress enough to council today about how having our committee staffed has made a difference in our ability to make and maintain forward progress and to avoid snafus like the one Laura talked about with submitting multiple annual reports that you folks haven't formally seen until today. 3, we've commissioned a subcommittee to assess grants reporting to make sure grant program requirements and the city's future RFP clearly reflect the goals of the AEAF for K-12 arts access and also access for underserved communities. 4, we've worked with the city to put updated committee bylaws in place. And then 5, we're continuing to recruit committee members to represent Portland's diverse communities, as well as strengthening our own committee's focus on equity and inclusion. In fact, recruitment is ongoing right now, so if any of you want to serve or know someone who might be a fit for us, please have them apply via portland.gov. Looking forward, we're working with the AEAF coordinator and the arts manager on crafting the foundation of the 22-23 report with the goal of finishing our committee's work by the end of this year. We're here today for Portland's children and for those communities who have not traditionally had access to one of life's greatest joys. This work matters greatly. Why does it matter? Because as any of us who has touched the arts can tell you, and as recent academic research out of Houston has concluded, elementary school students, and I'm quoting, who had increased arts education experiences saw improvements in writing achievement, emotional and cognitive empathy, school engagement, and higher education aspirations, while they had a lower incidence of disciplinary infractions. Simply put, arts education gives kids measurable skills for life, whether they grow up to become working artists or not. In partnership for Kids and Arts Access. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and Commissioner Ryan, Maps, Rubio, and Gonzalez. My name is Kristen Brayson. I'm the Director of Visual and Performing Arts Education for Portland Public Schools. I'm honored to be here today to discuss the Arts Education Access Fund and its impact on our district. I was hired 10 years ago in the 2013-14 school year to join central office as a teacher on special assignment. As a seasoned dance educator and the lone person in charge with supporting K-12 arts education in dance, music, theater, and visual arts, I quickly had to figure out how to support all four arts disciplines with a special focus on the over 50 new arts educators hired to our district with the passage of the AEAF ballot measure. It became apparent very quickly that we as a district needed to move boldly and aggressively to ensure that we were stepping up to support access to a high-quality arts education in service of the voters. Over time and in partnership with teacher stakeholders, arts organizations, and community members, key indicators emerged that would illuminate how we should determine quality in the realm of arts education. It was through a comprehensive strategic planning process that PPS began defining and expanding the ideology around how we measure each and every component of an equitable, comprehensive, high-quality arts education. Through hours of research and feedback, we established a framework to effectively communicate the component qualities. While the arts tax established access for students, we were committed to diving deeper so we could seek alignment between our beliefs about quality and the practices across the system. Our framework, which is a larger part of a PPS, Master Arts Education Plan, assures that every conversation centers on 5 components, whether at the school site, central office, or with decision makers at any level. 1, we want access to courses offered and the frequency and length of time that students are engaged in content. 2, we want high-quality instructional materials, equipment, supplies that drive the curriculum. 3, we want meaningful experiences and tasks in the teaching and learning environment of the classroom. 4, we need authentic and functional spaces that attempt to match professional industry standards. And 5, opportunities for students to perform and exhibit their work, which is considered the culminating pinnacle learning objective in arts education standards. If you took a trip back in time, this year's 10th graders were kindergartners when the arts tax started. While we're in the first initial phases of comprehensive research and evaluation around K-12 trajectory and long-term impacts, I will say that we've seen arts education in our district serve and benefit student development in the personal, academic, and social realms. While I could continue discussing the myriad of ways arts education benefits human development by nurturing and cultivating creativity and critical thinking and empowering students to envision and shape a vibrant, innovative, and socially just world, I want to leave you with one small but profoundly important metric that draws us back to our community's tax investment and its benefits. I could say that arts education, with its commitment to community performance and exhibitions, is a true place of convergence and fellowship for neighborhoods and members of society to come together and experience unbridled talent, to make a journey of transcendence and together and view the power of student learning on display. Recently, we decided to measure how many community events took place on an average month, quarter, and semester or school year. While the number only represents those arts educators who submitted events to our district calendar, the sheer volume is staggering. In one academic school year, there are over 350 visual and performing arts events, which translates to about 40 events per month. If we as a city find value in the arts and its benefits to society, I'd say our arts tax investments and its resulting student performances and exhibitions provide ample opportunity for mental health, wellness, and connection to our community. So in closing, I just want to say it is with great pride that I lead this work in our district alongside incredible arts education teammates who are here today. We are 6 deep now. As a team, we serve at the pleasure of this community, this city. We take our role seriously, and we are dogged in our pursuit of high-quality arts education for all, for every last one of us. We eagerly await the next chapters of our work with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Helen Del Toso, and I'm here from the Regional Arts and Culture Council. I'm vintage RAC. I go before the arts tax was voted on, and I'm so vintage. Commissioner Mapps, I worked with you to close out a grant at Park Rose Neighborhood Association that you did not apply for, but you inherited the final report, and you did it. And congratulations all these years later. I don't remember the year, but it was a while ago. It was for some street music performances. Never forgotten it. I want to thank Darian Jones for including RAC at the table today, and I want to thank my colleagues who are here with me today, Ingrid Carlson, my partner, in all the work we've done on behalf of the AEAF, Nikki Cook, who has helped with some of our data, and Monica Para-Allen, who is here with us today. The most important thing you need to understand is the AEAF changed our approach to grant making. This tax joined RAC at the time and coincided with our work to become a more equitable funder and service provider. The focus on access is what anchored us going forward, and it continues to anchor us today. So a couple things I want to do for you today is I want to draw you back to the 17-18 year of the tax, which is the first year of the report. We invited 2 new programs into our programming. One was called the Equity Investments. We funded that program through 2019, and 24 general operating support organizations received additional funding for equity-based programs that they wanted to do to support their external or internal equity work. A great example of this was on display last weekend at the Winningstad Theater with the Red Door Project and Evolve. The Evolve Experience presents live and filmed first-person narratives from police officers, judges, and Black community members describing their lived experience at the intersection of race and the justice system. We also started a capacity building program. This capacity building program specifically provides resource and tools to organizations led by and representing underserved communities and those who are marginalized by institutional bias. We started with 4 organizations and we currently have 9 in the cohort. Another organization that I want to highlight here using our funds is the Portland Art Museum to develop their residency relationship with the Numbers Radio. If you've been to see Black Artists of Oregon, congratulations. If you have not, please go. There's also a corresponding podcast that is co-produced by the Art Museum and the Numbers. Let's fast forward to today. You have 9 years of the arts tax going out the door from the Regional Arts and Culture Council. We now have 63 eligible organizations receiving the funds. We started with 44. That's access. We have 9 capacity building organizations, and this year we gave 110 organizations in our mainline Arts C3 program the access funding. That's 186 unique organizations receiving the arts tax. Remember, we started at 44. A couple data points that I'll quickly provide because I know my friends at the AOC love some data. 61% of our general operating support organizations have youth-based programming or school-based programming. Close to a quarter of our organizations have programs that are explicitly existing to support disability access for their organization and their audiences. We have a total number of arts program attendance at 1,864,777 total tickets, and of that, 1,109,390 are free. Also want to share with you that the total number of youth served across all general operating support organizations is 105,764, and of that, 61,765 of those children are served in schools. This is in addition to the programs that you've just heard about. 90% of our general operating support organizations provide free and discounted tickets to the community. I'm here for any questions, and I thank you for your time today. This is the first time RAC has been invited to the table to discuss the AEAF. It's an honor to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Team, does that wrap it up?
That is the end of invited testimony. I think it's public testimony or
Yeah,
questions.
I was mistaken. I had the wrong item. Keelan, we do not have anyone signed up. Is that correct?
No one signed
So
up.
Q&A, colleagues. Thank you for the great presentation. All right, good. This is a report. I'll entertain a motion to accept it.
So moved.
Commissioner Maps will let you move it. Commissioner Ryan will let you second it. Any
thank
further
you.
discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Gonzalez?
I've had 3 children participate in Portland Public Schools, have benefited from the arts teachers throughout. I think my little guy's favorite class right now is drama, and probably inherited that from his father. But I never could quite fill in the boxes well, and so art allowed me to fill in where I was going to fill in. And but thank you for the reminder of the good work this fund does. I think the art tax, when you talk to ordinary Portlanders, is sometimes a point of annoyance, just the way it's collected. But visualizing the number of Portland children that are connected with the arts very directly with these funds is so important. And I think we need to keep telling that story and reminding Portlanders what they're getting for their dollars. It matters. It matters a great deal. So I wholeheartedly vote aye to accept this report.
Maps?
And I would echo many of the themes that my colleague raised. I have two kids who are just recently exiting elementary school. We went to Buckman, which is an arts magnet school, and has had a huge influence on how they have unfolded as young people. A great report today. I want to thank staff, volunteers, and Commissioner Ryan for both the work described in this report and for today's very informative presentation. I vote aye.
Rubio.
I want to thank Commissioner Ryan and Jeff and Stephen and Darian and everybody in the team for working on this important report, as well as the committee. It's really great to see how the City Arts program changes have increased the city's ability to be responsive to community and educators. And I'm especially happy to see the expanded capacity that this has really opened up to support the committee itself. And also that additional capacity continues to grow and build under the capable leadership of Commissioner Ryan. So thanks again to the City Arts team, and thanks again to the volunteers of AEAF, and as well as our key education stakeholders. I vote aye.
Ryan.
Yes, first I'd like to give special thanks to everyone at the City's Arts team, Jeff, Stephen, there you are, and Dawn. And most importantly, I also want to thank my Senior Policy Director of Arts, Culture, and Equity, Darian Jones. Darian, without your hard work and dedication, this report would not look as good as it does, and the information inside wouldn't be as compelling. You've really worked your tail off to get this report right. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank our taxpayers. I know it's not always a joy to pay taxes, especially this one. It gets a lot of attention. But when you can't see the results from your investments, I think that is part of the frustration. I hope today anyone that tuned in can actually see the results of this investment. And the testimony from the invited guest, the educators back there, where it's a partnership. It's nice to see the leverage that this has caused. And it's really a good day for our school children in Portland area that we now have arts back in the curriculum. And I hope people continue to see this good work. And I hope people also take up the challenge of going to at least one arts event per month, preferably in the central area, so we can get downtown activated. There's nothing better to end your week or the middle of the week than to go see something that gets you out of whatever you're stuck in. So please go out and support the arts. Here's to keeping our children centered in our work. I accept the report.
Wheeler.
First of all, I want to express my gratitude to the staff and community partners who worked on this report. Commissioner Ryan, I want to thank you in particular as the commissioner in charge, and Darian. I know who does all the work. It works the same way in my office, so thank you for all of your great work. You can't take the passion out of this. And Commissioner Ryan, I enjoyed your personal story. So whoever set you up, it was probably Darian, not to point anybody out in particular. But the stories do matter. And it was interesting to me to learn something more about you and your passion for the arts. I think we all take him out for a beer and see if he can really tap dance. That's what I want to do. But thank you for your continued passion on this subject.
I think we do it up here quite a bit.
We sort of do, don't we? I'm really pleased to hear the progress that has been made to make art accessible to the kids at the Portland Public Schools, and I support, and the rest of the support being provided to our local artists. That was a really important point for me to hear, and obviously it was inspiring to my colleagues as well to hear about what's going on in our public schools. As we all know, arts is often the gateway to other great opportunities and learning in our community. I'm also pleased about the progress that's being made within the industry as well as by Travel Portland. I still maintain that there's a lot of incredible things going on in the art community here in Portland. I often get invited to participate in events or speak at different galleries or whatnot. And I'm always just really impressed with the diversity and the quality of the art community that we have here in Portland. Your work will continue to be important in the city's recovery, and I appreciate it immensely. Commissioner Ryan has said in the past that the arts community will help lead the recovery of this city, and I could not agree with Commissioner Ryan more. I'm very happy, therefore, to vote aye. Report's accepted. Thanks for everybody for your good work. Thanks. Next item, please, 808. 7, which is an emergency ordinance.
Amend Sidewalk Cafes Code, Underground Wiring Districts Code, Administrative Rules, and Associated Fee Schedule to reflect changes in the outdoor dining program for clarity, consistency, and ease of administration.
This is an important one, and it's being led by Commissioner Mapp. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to start out today by making a motion to replace Exhibit A and Exhibit C of this ordinance with updated versions of those exhibits. Colleagues, here's what's going on here. The amendment to Exhibit A comes at the request of the hearings office. This amendment will ensure that appeals will flow through the hearings office and that there are no fees associated with those appeals. And the update to Exhibit C removes fees from the appeals process. May I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner
Thank you.
Mapps moves the, it's a substitution, is that what this is? A substitution. Commissioner Gonzalez seconds. Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, call the roll on the amendment.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan. Wheeler.
Aye. The substitution is now on the table.
Thank you, colleagues. This item comes to us from PBOT. This ordinance implements changes to PBOT's outdoor dining program. Again, here's some background on this item. You will remember that on August 23 of this year, this council reviewed and approved PBOT's outdoor dining guidelines reports. That report recommended this council make several changes to the city's outdoor dining program. Those recommended changes include amendments to the city's sidewalk cafe codes, amendments to underground wiring district code, amendments to administrative rules, and some changes to the fee schedule for the outdoor dining program. The ordinance before us today implements those changes. Here to tell us more about this ordinance, we have staff from PBOT, including Adrian Schaefer-Borrego, a supervisor at PBOT's Portland in the Street section, and we have David McEldowney, a right-of-way management and permitting division manager, also with PBOT. Welcome, Team PBOT.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Mayor and
Morning.
Commissioners. We're very pleased to be able to bring this item before you today. We'll be discussing the last steps that will allow PBOT to transition from the pandemic-era Healthy Business Program to the outdoor dining program, a permanent offering for restaurants, bars, and other businesses throughout the city. As Commissioner Mapp said, given that we were here last month to have an in-depth review of the design guidelines and the outdoor dining program as a whole, we want to be respectful of your time, and we'll try to keep this brief. All the components of this ordinance were presented and discussed last month, but this is the official dotting of the i's and crossing of the t's, so to speak. Before I turn the program over to Adrian, I wanted to once again thank Council for your continued support of this program via ARPA funds that not only helped countless businesses throughout the worst times of the pandemic, but also helped PBOT to carefully craft a program that will allow businesses the confidence to know that the outdoor dining program is here to stay and that they can invest in the related infrastructure. Adrian?
Okay, great. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioner, and City Council. Again, I'm Adrian Schaefer-Borrego, the supervisor of the Portland in the Street section at PBOT. Also, before I start, I want to state that I'm a person who stutters, so thank you for your patience. As Dave said, what we have for you today is an ordinance on the outdoor dining program. As a reminder of where we are today, in August, you heard from PBOT staff as they presented the outdoor dining program report and the design guidelines, which Council accepted. Our goal is to open up the application window on October 16th, which is less than 3 weeks away, and the permit cycle begins on January 1st. In our engagement with restaurant owners, we heard a desire for a range of different operational needs. In response to that feedback we received, the permanent program will provide a variety of options as presented in the outdoor dining design guidelines. And so to accomplish this, PBOT needs to update 2 city codes and 2 admin rules. PCC 1725 and TRN 1004 currently address the sidewalk cafe program. And they need to be updated and expanded to include the new design guidelines and rules for the outdoor dining program. On 1760, as you saw in the design guidelines and as we see in outdoor dining around the city, there are clear benefits to having decorative lighting and electric heating in these installations. Currently, PCC 1760 would not allow overhead extension cords serving outdoor dining installations in the underground wiring districts. So after consultation with the fire marshal, we are proposing an additional exemption to this code that would allow for extension cords. And then lastly, Exhibit C of the ordinance outlines the fee structure for these new outdoor dining options. It takes the place of the previous healthy business fees. That concludes my presentation, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Could you go back to the different options page? You had some schematics.
Absolutely.
And are those the 4 options? Are there other options? Is there flexibility if people want to do something slightly different? Or does that go through a different approval process?
So these are the four different permit types as outlined in the design guidelines and in the application process. So we have the sidewalk cafe option. There's a new seasonal option that we feel will meet the needs of many business owners around the city, and the street seats with out in the street with the platform, and street seat with a platform and a roof.
Okay, and those are the 4 main types that exist today, correct?
Exactly. Those are the well, at the moment we don't have a permit option for a seasonal permit.
Okay, very good. So that's an
brand
expansion,
new.
actually, of the program.
Yes.
And it's my understanding that this work that you're doing here has been largely very supported by the restaurants themselves. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. And last month, we had a lot of testimony from very supportive business owners that are really excited and just want to invest in their installations long term. And they're just really waiting on this approval so that they can do that.
Great. I think this is terrific. Any other questions? Public testimony?
We have one person signed up.
Great.
Mary Sipe.
Welcome, Mary.
Should I close this out?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that? Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm back. I testified about this agenda item on August 23rd, and once again, I want to be clear that I'm not testifying as the chair of the Noise Review Board. I'm testifying as a resident supporting my neighbors. When I testified on August 23rd, I told you how a number of restaurants have installed speakers at their outdoor dining locations, and how over the past 2 years, the Noise Office and the Noise Review Board have received complaints from neighbors about disruption to their ability to work from home and enjoy their homes due to the music playing from these speakers all day and into the night. I suggested at that time that the wording in the design guidelines under use and operations be changed from amplified music may be prohibited and a noise variance permit is generally required to installation of outdoor speakers is strictly prohibited at locations within 500 feet of residential dwellings, and that amplified music events must apply for a noise variance permit. Commissioner Mapps, you're in charge of PBOT, and during my testimony on August 23rd, you were nodding your head in agreement the whole time. Following the City Council meeting, I had a conversation with PBOT staff, Sarah Figliozzi, Art Pierce, and Dave McEldowney outside of City Hall. They all seemed in agreement with my recommendations, and Sarah agreed to follow up with me to discuss my recommendations further. Unfortunately, that's not happened. I see in Exhibit D1 of the Outdoor Dining Program Guidelines that's being presented to you today for approval that there's been no change in the wording about amplified music as I recommended. sorry. It's very disappointing to come to City Council, give testimony, receive what seems like support, and then be completely ignored. The amount of community feedback on this program and the Street Plaza program appears to be focused on businesses, and little outreach appears to have been made to obtain feedback from residents who are impacted. We need to find a balance between supporting the businesses and maintaining the livability. The City Noise Code, Title 18 states, "It's the intent of the City Council to control the level of noise in a manner that promotes the use, value, and enjoyment of property, conduct of business, sleep and repose, and reduces unnecessary and excessive sound in the environment." This is a little bit confusing because I'm not sure if what's presented today, if the guidelines are a part of the code changes or not. But if they are, Commissioner Mapps, I urge you to make another amendment to propose a change to prohibit the installation of outdoor speakers and require variance permits. Or to pull this item back and bring it back after there's been some discussion. I honestly don't see how this is an emergency that must be decided today. Let's just not just get her done. Let's get it done right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That completes testimony.
Very good. Do you want to address the question of residents, noise, other nuisances?
Yeah. Yes, Mayor. Once again, David McEldanny from Peabot. After we did have the conversation with Mary afterwards, we reached out based on her testimony to the city attorney's office and sought some guidance there. We were pointed towards Title 18, which is a complete code having to do with the noise ordinances and whatnot. And the recommendation was to leave things as they were, that we already had everything built into code. There's noise control officers who are supposed to respond to that, and not to mix the two. So that's the path we took.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Ryan, do you have
Commissioner
something?
Perhaps I wasn't listening well, but I couldn't understand how you answered that question.
The answer to the question?
The question that the mayor asked about neighbors' concerns, and I was tuned in for the most part, but I really couldn't follow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What you said. So is there a process for, what were you saying? Could you repeat it?
I guess what I was saying was
Or
in
speak
regards to
non-jargon, yeah.
the testimony that we just heard, we had followed up with the city attorney's office on that to find out, what their guidance was. And their guidance was basically to not mix the two. We already had city code that dealt with noise ordinances, and there was enforcement personnel that dealt with that in case, a business was playing music too loud, and to deal with it there versus just purely excluding it from preventing all businesses from having any music whatsoever out there. So that's how we dealt with that.
That was helpful. I really liked the way you just explained it. I could understand it much better. I did check in with the people at Civic Life to see if this generated any interest from neighbors, and we didn't hear anything, but I did check on that. But I found that Mary's testimony is very compelling. So thanks.
Hey, can I jump in here and just get some clarification? So the ordinance before us today basically sets the rules and the permitting process for restaurants and bars that want to put essentially furniture in the street. Mary, I think, raised some interesting questions about how do you deal with noise that are associated with people dining in the street? And I think the feedback we got from staff was we have a separate section of code and literally a separate bureaucracy that manages noise issues. Is that where we're basically at? And the advice from our lawyers is that PBOT should continue to manage the right-of-way, and the staff and the code that we've set up to manage noise issues should manage noise issues. Is that kind of where we're at?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
I was just curious about the engagement with public safety folks on this, particularly Fire Bureau. I sometimes hear this in the field, concerns about the impact of these on trucks' ability to traverse, particularly certain turns. So
Yeah, I can just add that the design guidelines, it was a group effort across different bureaus. We had input from BDS, BES, Fire. So the design rules were really based on their feedback.
okay, that's just one. Sometimes things get approved centrally, and then out in the field, it will sometimes have some implications. I just hope that we have opportunity to circle back to it later if there's something discerned that's problematic. But thank you.
Commissioner Rubio.
I just want to say to Mary, I hear you. I mean, I want to be clear that I support this ordinance, but I also want to say to Mary that I'm sorry that no one circled back with you and closed that loop. I know that's really important to hear the outcome of whatever internal deliberations are happening at the city. I oversee BDS, so I'm committed to working with you and following up and seeing if there are avenues to make sure that we can address the concerns that you have specifically.
Outreach to the noise office would be appreciated as well. There needs to be more collaboration between these bureaus.
Heard. Thank you.
I agree with that. And I did have a follow-up question, if I may. So I assume that you issue a permit for somebody to be able to construct and occupy these spaces. Do you provide the occupancy permit for the space, or is that done by a different bureau?
No, the permit itself, covers their ability to construct, operate, and maintain the structure within the right-of-way.
And then are you allowed to add administrative rules? For example, I assume that they're not allowed to operate beyond the hours of the business, or is it even curtailed?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we brought before you today is TRN 10.04, which is the administrative rules for the program. So those are things that we plan on evaluating over the course of the next year to see, what changes may need to be made to this program. This is a completely
right now,
new
for example,
thing.
in terms of what's in the administrative rules, and I'm sorry, I don't remember. Is there a certain time by which those spaces must be vacated if they're in a residential area?
I don't believe that we have hours of operation that are guided by those. The only timeline has to do with the seasonal permits for what months they can be out on the street. But everything else, there's no time requirements for when the business is open or closed.
But that could be visited administratively,
Absolutely.
could it not?
Absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't really have to go through an entire other, I agree with Commissioner Ryan, bureaucracy. So that is something that could be evaluated.
Right. All of this, even the noise issues, if we find that becomes a problem and the noise officers are not able to deal with that, then we can certainly make those adjustments as we move forward.
If there's a particular venue that they're just not being good neighbors, do you have the legal ability to withdraw the occupancy for
Absolutely.
that outside facility? So if there's one place that just racks up a bunch of complaints, they're playing really loud music late into the night, it's disruptive to the neighbors, is there a process whereby that is rectified or the right is ultimately removed?
That's correct, there is. Obviously, our first preference is to be more of an ambassador for the city instead of an enforcer out there. We want to go out and, educate folks, provide outreach to make sure that they know what the rules are. But if that doesn't work, then we can go the enforcement route and revoke the
I
permit.
appreciate the initial entree being one of diplomacy, but sometimes that doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Ryan.
Yeah, just I want to offer something. The new and improved civic life, which is getting back to its core mission of actually being an objective convener. We could utilize the skill sets of that office to provide a place where these conflicts of concerns could be aired out. So the bureaus that have the experts that want something aren't the ones doing that to the neighbors, but in fact, there's an objective way of doing that convening.
Great. Commissioner Ryan, I want to thank you for your offer of collaboration. I also want to take a moment to recognize Commissioner Rubio for her leaning into this space too. I believe that if our portfolios work together, we can have a stand-up, a truly model approach to bringing the dining experience into our public right-of-way. So thank you. I feel good about what's happening today.
Great. Thank you for the discussion, everyone. This is an emergency ordinance. Please call the roll.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
I want to thank staff for today's presentation and the work on this item. Mary, thank you so much for alerting us to some of the issues that we still need to work out in this space. Commissioner Ryan, Commissioner Rubio, thank you for your partnership in helping make Portland be the best city it can be. I vote aye.
Rubio.
I want to thank staff for the presentation and for their work on this. I think this is an important step forward. The food and restaurant culture in Portland is essential to our economic vitality. I also want to thank Mary for bringing forward those concerns, and you have our commitment that we're going to be connecting on this soon. So happy to vote aye.
Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, staff. And yeah, Mary, you were the star of the show. It was really good to have your testimony because it allowed us to deal with the nuance of implementing this. And it's all about how we implement policy, not so much the policy we pass. And with this iteration of outdoor dining first came to council, God, it feels like it was a while ago. I just was struck with how enthusiastic the testimony was from those who hung in there and survived. We have had a lot of businesses close in the city of Portland. It's been unprecedented. And this was an example where government was agile and figured out how to work with those small businesses so they could be made whole. With that comes some challenges that we're talking about today, but it's I just commend PBOT for pivoting during that time of great challenge and then continuing to figure out how to improve it as we normalize it, if you will, going forward. So anyway, thank you so much, and this helps our small businesses, which is how we help Portlanders. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Well, I want to start by thanking Commissioner Maps and his staff, and definitely PBOT. Thank you. I mean, yesterday was a difficult day for you. I hope today you're seeing it as a little more fun and a happier subject, and one that's really important to the recovery of this city. And I greatly appreciate the work that you've done and Commissioner Maps and his staff have done to bring this forward with really a minimum of headwinds. This seems to be something we really desperately need. Mary's comments are completely valid. Obviously, the recovery has to include our downtown neighborhoods and our residents who have stuck it out. They deserve to feel happy and welcome and included in these discussions. And I'm grateful to hear that there is flexibility in the administrative rules, and we'll keep plugging forward. But this is an excellent framework, and I really appreciate it. I'm very happy to vote aye, and the emergency ordinance is approved. Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner. Let's see, how are we doing time-wise? Well, let's keep going. We're almost done. Let's move to item 808. This is a proclamation.
Proclaims September 25th through the 29th, 2023 to be National Advanced Practice Provider Week.
Colleagues, our next item is a proclamation naming September 25th through the 29th of 2023 to be National Advanced Practice Provider Week. This morning, we're going to hear from two presenters on this topic, Corey Fry, who's an acute care nurse practitioner, assistant professor of medicine and director of advanced practice at OHSU, and Jessica Wright, a physician associate and clinical instructor of medicine and co-chair of the PA Council at OHSU. Thank you both for being here today.
Great. Thank you so much for having us. As Director of Advanced Practice, I want to thank you for the time and for the proclamation and recognition of the impact that advanced practice providers have on healthcare delivery in Portland and Multnomah County and across our state and nationally. I'm here today to really represent advanced practice providers as a whole community in Portland and to recognize their great work and also the workforce crisis that we have that is impending as demands increase for our community. Advanced practice providers, APPs as they're commonly known, are certified registered nurse anesthetists, certified nurse midwives, clinical nurse specialists, nurse practitioners, and physician associates. APPs are essential members of high-performing multidisciplinary teams empowered to deliver high-quality, patient-centered care. Our numbers are growing, and we are ready to meet the growing demands for healthcare locally, regionally, and nationally in support of the Institute for Healthcare Improvement's quintuple aim to improve population health, reduce costs, improve the patient experience, improve clinician wellness, and advance health equity. Our aging population, mental health crisis, and physician workforce shortages are forming the perfect storm for healthcare access in the years ahead. Advanced practice providers are here, and we deeply appreciate the impact of this proclamation in support of our community.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wheeler and council members for having us here today. Advanced practice providers have a long-standing history of providing high-quality, affordable, and equitable care to some of the most vulnerable populations. We practice in all areas of primary and specialty care, including pediatrics, addiction medicine, behavioral health, and geriatrics, which is the specialty I work in. While other groups of clinicians are having limitations to being able to provide service to Oregonians, a recent study by the Oregon Health Authority showed that APPs are actually increasing their direct patient care hours, indicating that we are a critical part of being able to expand access to care for Oregonians. I feel honored to have the mayor and the council here today making this proclamation and acknowledging the important role that we have in providing access to healthcare for Oregonians and by commemorating this week as Advanced Practice Provider Week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Colleagues, comments? Commissioner Mapps.
Yeah, first off, let me start by thanking our guests for joining us here today for this important proclamation. And I want to say this, colleagues, I'm delighted to join you in proclaiming September 25th through the 29th to be National Advanced Practice Provider Week. As we heard, advanced practice providers include certified nurse midwives, clinical nurse specialists, nurse practitioners, physical assistants, and many more specialties. In addition, advanced practice providers deliver high-quality, cost-effective care to Oregonians in primary care, pediatrics, geriatrics, and maternal child health. Advanced practice providers assess, diagnose, treat, and manage illness. They prescribe medications, they perform clinical procedures, and they conduct clinical research. Now, in these United States, there are more than 500,000 advanced practice providers, and about 8,000 of those folks work here in Oregon. And during National Advanced Practice Provider Week, we recognize and celebrate those indispensable medical professionals, which is why I encourage all Portlanders to recognize and celebrate and thank an advanced practice provider this week. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Mapps. Commissioner Rubio.
Hi, I just want to tell you that I think that advanced practice providers are champions, especially during that you all were nothing short of heroic during the pandemic in providing extremely important services to our community, also continuing to today. And it's our responsibility to ensure that these workers are recognized and supported for their good work. And so I support the need for making sure that we have basic safety standards and protect patients, their coworkers, and their families. And so as we honor you today, we should not forget about that staffing crisis that you acknowledged that everybody is facing in Oregon. So I'm hoping that things will improve and that conditions will improve and standards will improve overall so that ultimately the health and well-being of our community is greatly impacted. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner Rubio. Commissioner Ryan.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for the presentation and sincere gratitude to all your members for their hard work. I will just say that in my career, I had the opportunity to be the first development director for the Bailey Boucher House up in Seattle. It's a skilled nursing facility. It was built expressly for people living with AIDS in the early 90s. You can only imagine the not in my backyard issues we faced at that time, but we got it built, and it's been proven to be what we needed during the crisis at that time. But since it's been seen as how to do long-term care, so more geriatric patients now are part of it. Virginia Mason was the operator once it was built. My point is we were able to provide such skilled 24/7 care, and no shade on doctors, but we didn't have, it was skilled nursing, so we were able to tap into the skill sets of your employees, and it was really wonderful to see that. Of course, I was a salesperson trying to get people to give money to it, and it actually was an easy sell once they came and saw the facility. And in my own, I've been living with HIV for almost 40 years, and if it wasn't for your members, it would have been really hard to navigate healthcare during the last 40 years. And again, no shade to doctors, but it was really refreshing when I had an LPN that could readily return my call, could communicate with me in ways that I could understand, and had more time, and prescribe the necessary prescriptions. So anyway, I personally am excited that we're taking time to salute all of your members. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Well, for a number of years, our primary was a nurse practitioner, and much better bedside manner, much better accessibility. No shade at doctors, but just accessible and human and kind. Care was provided to our family that way. Deeply, deeply appreciative of it. As we look at the various crises in the medical profession right now, really, from the moment the pandemic hit to today, we face a myriad of challenges, and we're going to continue to need to be creative and proactive in thinking about what our healthcare solutions are going to be for the future, because what we've done to date, it's going to be, it's not quite up to the task of what we're facing today. And so your members are going to be big parts of that solution as we go forward. So thank you for your report today.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. Clearly, our healthcare system owes a great deal of thanks to the hard work of advanced practice providers. All of us, at some point in our lives, have certainly been treated by an advanced practice provider, and we're healthier because of that care. I'm glad we can take a moment today and reflect on the hardworking individuals that make an impact on the daily lives of so many of us, especially when they're desperately needed. I want to thank our guests for being here, and now on behalf of the Portland City Council, I'll read the proclamation. Whereas, advanced practice providers in healthcare include certified nurse midwives, certified registered nurse anesthetists. Did I get that?
Yeah.
Clinical nurse specialists, nurse practitioners, and physician assistants. And whereas there are 169,000 physician assistants, 46,500 certified nurse anesthetists, 7,950 certified nurse midwives, 258,230 nurse practitioners, and 89,000 clinical nurse specialists, totaling 570,680 advanced practice providers, providing important patient care in every setting, in every specialty, in every U.S. state and territory. And whereas demands on healthcare are increasing in Oregon, the advanced practice provider workforce of 7,900 clinicians must grow to ensure equitable patient access to high quality, cost-effective care for all Oregonians in primary care, pediatrics, geriatrics, and maternal child health. And whereas the national advanced practice provider workforce is projected to grow to 700,000 clinicians by the year 2030 to meet national demands for healthcare access. The 2022 Oregon legislature passed HB 5202 that invested in OHSU's 30-30-30 plan to address the healthcare workforce crisis. And whereas National Advanced Practice Provider Week honors the contributions of physician assistants, nurse practitioners, certified registered nurse anesthetists, clinical nurse specialists, and certified nurse midwives. And whereas we recognize and celebrate providers who are certified and licensed to assess, diagnose, treat, and manage illnesses, prescribe medications, perform clinical procedures, and conduct clinical research and management of the whole individual. And whereas we recognize that this important group of physicians elevates the fields of medicine and nursing to ensure that our patients and communities receive safe, high-quality, evidence-based care. Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim September 25th through 29th, 2023 to be National Advanced Practice Provider Week in Portland, and encourage all residents to recognize and thank an advanced practice provider for their important contributions to healthcare and the well-being of all. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Anesthetists.
Yeah, I ducked that one.
That's a tough one. That's all right, we're on the regular agenda. Item number 816, I believe. Keelan, is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay, 816, a non-emergency ordinance.
Vacate portions of Southeast Grand Avenue and Southeast Tenino Street, subject to certain conditions and reservations.
Commissioner Mapps.
Colleagues, this item comes to us from PBOT. If approved, this ordinance would direct the City of Portland to transfer ownership of portions of Southeast Grand and Southeast Tenino to a private property owner who owns a business that is adjacent to this public road. The road we are talking about is a one-block segment which dead ends into the Oregon Pacific Railroad. This section of road is currently unusable for public purposes. The street vacation proposed in this ordinance would support economic development while reducing ongoing maintenance costs for the City of Portland. And with that, I will turn the rest of the presentation over to PBOT staff, Lance Lindahl, right-of-way agent 3 for PBOT. Welcome, Lance.
Thank you, Commissioner. Hello, members of council and the mayor. Again, my name is Lance Lindahl, PBOT right-of-way acquisition, and this street vacation is for portions of both Southeast Grand Avenue and Southeast Tenino Street, and this is in the Selwood neighborhood at the east end of the Selwood Bridge. Next slide, please. The areas proposed for vacation are shown here in yellow on the map. Again, we're right at the east end of the Selwood Bridge. That can be seen at the top of the map. The portion of Southeast Grand Avenue being vacated runs between Tacoma Street to the north and Southeast Umatilla Street to the south. And also proposed for vacation is a one block long segment of Southeast Tenino Street that dead ends, as Commissioner Mapps mentioned, at the Oregon Pacific Railroad tracks. Next slide, please. A quick history of this area. So the street segments were dedicated to the public back in 1882 when this neighborhood was first platted as the town of Selwood. In 1925, it became a gateway into the neighborhood upon completion of the first Selwood Bridge. And the streets were proposed for vacation first actually back in 2005. And the petitioners have been very patient. They waited for design, engineering, and construction work of the Selwood Bridge to be completed. And that work was done and wrapped up in 2016. Next slide. Current conditions at the site. The surrounding area is zoned commercial mixed use 2 with a design overlay. There is limited east-west connectivity in this area, not just due to the railroad presence, but also the Springwater Corridor and some pretty severe elevation changes as the neighborhood starts tapering down to the Willamette Riverfront. Next slide, please. Here's a photo showing current conditions on the Southeast Grand Avenue portion. As you can see, actually this picture was taken from the sidewalk on the south side of the Selwood Bridge. And as you can see, it's not used for street purposes currently, and it's impassable and overgrown with blackberry vines and other vegetation. Next slide. Here's a photo showing the Southeast Tenino Street portion. And we're looking here west from Southeast 6th Avenue, and the street area is unpaved and unimproved to current city standards, and it's mostly used for parking by neighborhood businesses and residents. Next slide, please. Overall, the conditions of approval for the street vacation were quite minimal. Southeast Tenino vacation area has been reduced in size at the city's request in order to accommodate future frontage improvements, and a public works process is currently underway for this location. The petitioners and their representatives will be responsible for all costs related to the construction of new sidewalks along Southeast 6th Avenue, including a portion that will be built across that portion of Tenino Street, which is being vacated. Next slide. There are a couple other conditions of approval. The Bureau of Development Services has required that the property located at 530 Southeast Tenino Street be readdressed in order to be addressed off of remaining public right-of-way. And the Bureau of Environmental Services has required the petitioners to grant easements to the city for existing public sewer infrastructure in the area. Also, there's a 12-inch sanitary sewer line in Southeast Grand that will be abandoned, and those costs will be covered by the petitioners as well. Next slide. There is redevelopment proposed for this area. I want to touch upon it briefly, even though it is a separate process from the vacation. Right now, there's plans for a mixed-use development to be constructed on the 2 blocks on either side of the Tacoma and 6th Avenue intersection. And those plans call for 2 new 4-story buildings with ground floor retail and apartments located above. Tom Dwyer Automotive, which is located on the south side of the Tenino Street area being vacated, are remaining and will continue their operations there. Next slide. That wraps up my presentation. There's also representatives available today from both petitioners that are abutting property owners. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions at this particular juncture? Commissioner Mapps, do you have anything?
I don't have anything. I do believe we have public testimony on this.
Keelan?
Do we?
We have one person signed up, Peter Finley Fry.
Good morning, Peter.
Thank you, Landell. Thank you, Peter. Peter Finley Fry. I represent both Diana Richardson, who owns a block north, and also the block across Tacoma, which are both being developed for housing. And the other property owner is Dave Stoner, which is a block south of Tenino. I was going to say this has been almost 20 years, but I was wrong. It's been almost 30 years. And I wanted to briefly say that I went out and got all the petitions signed, and then Multnomah County decided to build a bridge through my property owner's property. And so we stopped for about 5 or 6 years and let the county build their bridge, which is a beautiful bridge, I might add. And then I had to go get the petition signed again. And without Lance's help and Dee Walker, I want to specifically mention Dee. She's retired now. This was kept alive by her. I want to use this as an example. You saw the map that showed Tenino dead ending. It has no transportation purpose. The reality is that if you redevelop property, you have to improve your frontages. Well, that was a frontage to Diana Richardson's property. So my moral of my story is when you address the infrastructure issues like this, and we have a lot of dead-end streets and a lot of things like this out there, then it attracts developers. So that's what happened here is the developer found out we were vacating this, so suddenly their development costs dropped by almost $250,000 to $500,000, depending on what the requirements would have been to reconstruct that street. Because as you saw, it's nothing. Let's see. I want to make a plug for infrastructure because I have a friend who owns almost 2 acres in the middle of Elliott, has a church and is vacant. And there's a sewer line that's literally 100 feet away in your street. The cost of putting that sewer line into the property is basically prohibiting that property from being developed in Elliott by a manual. So these are the real problems that I'm dealing with. That's it, except I wanted to thank Commissioner Gonzalez specifically for reopening Station 23. Thank you. I wanted to point out that station first happened in 1913. It's in the first station is in a National Historic Landmark called Firehouse Row. So, and it was closed, and you opened it. Thank you. That's it. I can answer questions.
All right.
Just a quick question, Peter. If you haven't already done so, if you'll reach out to my office about that sewer line, I think this is the first time I've heard of it. I don't know what, if anything, is possible to do there, but at the very least, I want to make sure my staff is educated about
Okay, I will.
the
Thank you.
opportunity here.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sure.
All right, very good. This is a non-emergency ordinance. If there's nothing else, this moves to second reading. And that completes our business for this morning. We're adjourned.